Hey, it's NPR's Book of the Day. I'm Andrew Limbong. Happy Friday after Thanksgiving. Arguably a more enjoyable, less stressful day than yesterday, so we've just got a quick one for you today. NPR just dropped its annual Books We Love list. You'll hear me explain the spiel as to how it's different from other year-end lists in a bit, but just know that it's about 380 books recommended by the books team, critics, writers, and the entire staff of NPR. You can find the list at npr.org/bestbooks, but if you want a sneak peek, I was on the big daily NPR shows recommending a few of our picks. In a bit, we'll do fiction, but first, here's me on Morning Edition talking to NPR's Michel Martin about some of our nonfiction books.
This message comes from Saatva, official mattress and restorative sleep provider for Team USA. The Olympic Games have come a long way since the first one in 776 BC. In fact, those Olympic Games weren't even games. It was the Olympic Game, a straight 630-foot sprint. But one thing that hasn't changed is the importance of restorative sleep to an elite athlete's performance. You can benefit from quality sleep too. Visit saatva.com/NPR and save up to $625.
This message is sponsored by DSW, the birthplace of the humble brag. Full of all kinds of shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. And when there are never-ending options for every style, mood, occasion, and budget, there is unlimited freedom to play. And that's something to brag about. So go ahead, stock up on fresh sneakers from your favorite brands, or try those boots you always secretly knew you could pull off. Find the shoes that get you at prices that get your budget. DSW, let them surprise you.
Every year, we ask everybody who works at NPR, and I mean everybody, what their favorite books of the year were. We pull this together and present it to you as an interactive guide called Books We Love. Here to tell us about some nonfiction books that made the cut this year is Andrew Limbong. He hosts NPR's Book of the Day podcast. Good morning, Andrew.
Hey, Michelle.
So for the unfamiliar, tell us a bit more about Books We Love.
Yeah, it's something we've been doing since about 2013. Like you said, we ask everyone what they love. So yeah, we've got our books team, including writers and critics, but across NPR, we're asking people. So we've got producers, editors, folks on the business side, all sharing what they enjoyed reading. And this year, we've got about 380 entries, in the neighborhood of that. I know that's big, but it's all organized by tags. So it's not just fiction and nonfiction, but also book club ideas, love and romance for sports lovers. And you can mix and stack the tags so you can really key in on what you or the reader in your life is really into.
All right, with that being said, we're going to talk about nonfiction books today. What have you got for us?
All right, let's start with a good biography. Michelle, have you ever noticed how there's more pockets in menswear than there are in womenswear?
So annoying. So annoying. Yes.
Yeah, right? This pocket gender disparity was something fashion designer Claire McCardell wanted to solve. She was working mainly in the 1930s and 40s and redefining what American womenswear could be, right? So she turned it into something more sporty and practical, but still beautiful. And she's the subject of a biography by Elizabeth Evitts Dickinson titled Claire McCardell, the Designer Who Set Women Free. And, like a lot of good biographies, it's not just about McCardell as a designer, but it's also about America's search for its own aesthetic identity.
We have a lot of history fans out there, so any kind of deep history books on the list?
Yeah, Mary Annette Pember is a correspondent at ICT News. Michelle, I think you might remember that as Indian Country Today. She's got a book out titled Medicine River, A Story of Survival and the Legacy of Indian Boarding Schools. It's about these brutal schools funded by the federal government that works to forcefully assimilate Native American kids, right? Giving them English names and forcing them into Christianity. And these schools were around from the 1800s through the 1970s. And it's a deeply reported story that Pember has direct ties to through her family.
So, Andrew, even though we're talking about nonfiction, there are a few books on here that are about some of the biggest names in fiction, right?
Yeah, real quick, there's Tony at Random by Dana A. Williams, which is about the famous writer Toni Morrison, but it focuses on her time as an editor, right? And I think you can argue that she had just as big of an impact on literature from that perch as she did as a writer, right? She was working with Muhammad Ali and Angela Davis, and she wasn't just, line editing their copy, but really championing her writers in the publishing offices. And then there's the new biography of James Baldwin by Nicholas Boggs called Baldwin, A Love Story. Michelle, you talked to Boggs, right? What'd you think of the book?
Oh man, highest recommendation. I mean, if you know a lot about Baldwin, you learn things. If you don't know a lot about Baldwin, I mean, it really will whet your appetite. I just had no idea what a footprint he had. I just can't say enough about it.
Yeah, it'll more than whet your appetite. It's huge, right? It's like a good 600 pages, yeah.
That's right. That is NPR's Andrew Limbong. For more book recommendations, head to npr.org/bestbooks. Andrew, thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. And now for fiction, here's me recommending a few titles to All Things Considered host Scott Detrow.
This message comes from GiveWell. When you give to a nonprofit, how do you measure success? What is the real impact on people's lives? GiveWell researches the highest impact opportunities around the world. Over 150,000 donors have confidently used GiveWell's research, collectively saving an estimated 300,000 lives. Make a tax-deductible donation at GiveWell.org. First-time donors can have their donation matched up to $100 as long as matching funds last. Select Podcast and NPR at checkout.
If you heard a heavy thunk this morning, that was NPR dropping its massive year-end list of book recommendations. We do this every November. It's called Books We Love. And here to tell us more is NPR's Andrew Limbong. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Scott.
So this is one of my favorite days of the year at NPR. Remind us how Books We Love is a little bit different from these 6 trillion other year-ender lists that are out there right now.
Yeah. Like you said, it's massive. We're just bigger and better than the other guys. You know what I mean? This year, it's about 380 books, and it's sourced not just from NPR book staff and critics, but literally everybody at NPR is open to contribute, right? So that's every department. We're talking producers, editors. We got people on the business side of NPR. And so we have an eclectic and diverse mix of books. And it's a lot more democratic way of doing a best of year-end list. We're not saying like, here's the 10 best books of the year. We're saying, here's a couple of options. You're going to find something you love. And I know that 380 number sounds a little intimidating. There are these little filter tags on the side to help you narrow down the selection and pick what's just right for you.
Can I say the best thing about how big this list is?
Yeah.
It is so big that people in my life have not caught on that I get them a gift based on this website just about every single year.
I know. It's a great, oh man, I'm visiting my father-in-law. I forgot. let me find something real quick.
All right, so you were on Morning Edition talking nonfiction this morning, which means we get to talk fiction.
Yeah, let's do it. I think let's start with some genre-y books. Okay. Sally Blakely's Friends to Lovers is a romance book about 2 old friends who are, each other's plus ones to a wedding. And, some stuff happens. There's some drama, Yep. But like all good romance novels, I think this book is super aware of the tropes of romance and the genre conventions it is playing with. On a similar note, Death of the Author by Nnedi Okorafor is a sci-fi book, but sort of. It's about an author. He gets super famous for writing a sci-fi book about sentient AI and aliens. And half of the book is the author grappling with becoming super duper famous. And the other half of the book is the sci-fi book that she actually wrote.
Oh, interesting.
And these 2 narratives play off of each other in interesting ways.
Are there any books that you yourself, Andrew Limbong, put on the list?
Yeah, well, one entry I had was Lee Lai's Canon. This is a graphic novel following a woman who's, sort of at her wit's end. She's a cook at a mediocre restaurant. She's taking care of a sick grandfather. She's got a mother she can't get a hold of, and her best friend isn't very good at being a best friend. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so she's the support system for all of these people, but she has no support system for herself, and everything starts crumbling down on her life. The artwork is really beautiful. It's really subdued and it's sparse. There's a lot of blank space until, there isn't. And it's a super dramatic way of portraying her life crumbling.
So one other question. It's Thanksgiving week. We are entering a period of time where there might be some family drama in some listeners' lives. Who can say? Are there any books that kind of fit that mood?
Ooh, okay, yeah. There's a decent amount of family drama books on this list. Let's go with Among Friends by Hal Ebbett. This is a debut novel about 2 old friends. They and their families rent a house together for a holiday. The vibe where the kids play together, the adults sort of like hang out and drink cocktails, whatever. Something kind of bad happens about a quarter way through the book, and the friendship and the relationships unravel. Everybody gets super insecure, and the family drama at play is half of the fun. The other is like just some really stunning writing.
Mm-hmm. We just talked about 4 books, which means we just talked about 1% of this list. There's a lot more out there.
Yeah, like I said, we're bigger and better than the other team, you know?
That is Andrew Limbong, trash talking other book lists and hosting NPR's Book of the Day podcast. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Scott.
That's it for this week on NPR's Book of the Day. Let us know what you think. You can write to us at bookoftheday@npr.org. I'm Andrew Limbong. The podcast is produced by Chloe Weiner and edited by Megan Sullivan with help from Lena Edwards and Ivy Buck. Our founding editor is Petra Mayer. The show elements for this week were produced and edited by Christopher Intagliata, Kira Wakim, Sarah Handel, Ahmad Daman, Janaki Mehta, Matt Ozug, Megan Lim, Ava Berger, Milton Guevara, and Phil Harrell. Yolanda Sanguini is our executive producer. Thanks for listening. Kira Wakim, Sarah Handel, Ahmad Daman, Janaki Mehta, Matt Ozug, Megan Lim, Ava Berger, Milton Guevara, and Phil Harrell. Yolanda Sanguini is our executive producer. Thanks for listening.
This message comes from Sony Pictures Classics. How do three friends who dream big stay old friends? Merrily We Roll Along from Stephen Sondheim and Maria Friedman, starring Jonathan Groff, Daniel Radcliffe, and Lindsay Mendez. Only in theaters starting December 5th.
This message comes from Schwab. Everyone has moments when they could have done better. Same goes for where you invest. Level up and invest smarter with Schwab. Get market insights, education, and human help when you need it. This message comes from KeyBank. Growing a successful business has never been easy. But whether you're navigating a complex industry or trying to reinvent one, KeyBank's breadth of banking experts are here to collaborate on market-proven solutions. At KeyBank, they're built to grow with your changing needs because they're not just there for the business you are now. They're there for the business you'll become. Reimagine business as usual. KeyBank opens doors. Learn more at key.com/B2B.